A lot of people have misnomers about the racing pigeon in comparison to your normal feral pigeon or street pigeon that you see in big cities like Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, anywhere of that nature. The feral pigeon is a wild pigeon that just basically feeds off of anything that's laying around. The racing pigeon was bred specifically for its homing ability. And these birds are extremely valuable. They're kept in pigeon coops and bred only for flying. They're not let out to walk around and land on people's roofs, walk the streets, etc. The racing pigeons started around 1,000 years ago. Actually, they weren't racing pigeons then, they were pigeons just used to carry messages back and forth. Since then, in the late 1800s, people began developing the racing pigeon by crossing other pigeons that had homing abilities. That cross became known as the modern racing pigeon. That happened in Belgium. And in Belgium, the national sport of Belgium, believe it or not, is racing pigeons. And the racing pigeon community expands the entire world now. The Harrisburg Club that I fly in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, consists of about 20 flyers. And we fly races 2 times a year. In the spring, we fly old birds. Old birds are anything that is over a year old. In the fall, we fly young birds, which is birds that have flown or have been born after January 1st of this year. We fly a total of 10 old bird races and 9 young bird races. People ask me, how does pigeon racing work? How do you know who won the race? Well, we use electronic timing to determine the winner of the race. We all know the exact distance from the point of release, or the race station as we call it, to our pigeon loft. For instance, we might fly a 500-mile race from Knoxville, Tennessee. To my house, it's about 495 miles, a straight line. Someone else's house, it might be 512 miles. So what we do is we know the exact time the bird was released. When the bird comes home, it has an electronic chip on its leg, and it crosses over an antenna that picks up the signal and records the exact time the pigeon got home. So we take the length of time it took the pigeon to fly, divide the time into the distance, and we get the pigeon's speed. And we do it in yards per minute. The pigeon with the fastest speed then wins the race. Pigeon racing is becoming what most of us call a dying sport. It's basically most of the members are older folks like myself that had pigeons when they were young. When I was young, just about every neighborhood kid had pigeons. It was big sport, it was fun, your parents were involved. In New York City, it was a big thing in New York City. In today's world, kids don't have the interest in pigeons that I had. They have too many other things that grabs their interest. Video games and all of the things that are out there today for them to do. The sport has become a dying sport because there are very few new members, young people coming into the sport. And as time goes on, it's the pigeon racing community's feeling that that's just going to continue to get worse. 35 years ago, there were 70 members in the Harrisburg Pigeon Club. Today, there's 20. So it gives you an idea of a little bit about how this sport is diminishing. It makes many people happy because there are a few pigeons around, but it's actually a really good sport for young people to be involved in, particularly for their parents, because it keeps them at home, it teaches them responsibility, and it teaches them a little bit about life in general. And I think it's a really great sport for young people. Unfortunately, it's hard to get parents to understand that because they're so much in tune with the feral pigeon that has been advertised as the disease carrier, the dirty bird, the rats with wings, etc. And racing pigeons are really not that way. But you have to convince people of that.